Hey guys, Stephanie here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full in-depth talk through of my foundation routine, including highlighting and contour. Some of you guys on here asked me to do a video on this because I know in my other makeup tutorials, I just skimmed through it really fast and I don't really go in detail on my foundation routine, highlight, and contour. So this video, I think will be really helpful because I'm really gonna sit down and explain everything to you detail by detail of how I do my foundation, highlight, and contour. So this video is going to be a bit chatty and a bit long, but like I said, I think it'll be really helpful if you guys are interested in how I do everything detail for detail. Most of the products here are drugstore products, so this is kind of a drugstore foundation routine for the exception of like 1 or 2 products. So it is possible to achieve a flawless face using inexpensive products. So I really hope that you all enjoy this video. And if you guys are interested in how I do my foundation routine, then keep on watching. So the first thing that you always want to do is prime your skin, and today I'll be using the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer to prime my face. Now me personally, I like to use a silicone based primer because it gives you a really smooth surface to work with and it helps to keep your face mattified throughout the whole day. The silicone also acts as a great barrier for the skin so that when you apply your foundation, concealer, and other products, it's not necessarily going into your pores. It's more so sitting on top of your skin because of that silicone barrier. So I really like it because of that. Alright guys, so we're up close and personal right now. As you can see, I have a couple of blemishes on my face and I've been breaking out. It's the time of the month, I know, TMI, but just have a couple of pimples here and I'm going to correct all of that. Now I already done my eyebrows. If you guys want to see a tutorial on that, I will leave the link down below for my eyebrow tutorial so you guys could check that out. I'm gonna do an updated eyebrow tutorial because I just tweaked up a little bit of stuff in my eyebrow routines. So I'll be doing an updated eyebrow tutorial really soon. Alright, so the first thing that I do in my foundation routine is color correct. And I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the orange. And I'm just going to apply this first over my dark spots. This is just going to help to neutralize and cancel out the hyperpigmentation that I have on my face and the dark spots. And this will ideally help so that I don't use as much foundation and concealer in the long run. I also like to put it under my dark circles to help cancel that out as well. And a little bit on my forehead. And to blend everything out, I'm going to use my Real Techniques beauty sponge. You want to make sure that you always use a damp beauty sponge. So I just have my Fix Plus bottle. This is just filled up with water. And I'm just going to spray my beauty sponge just to make sure that I get it really damp. And I'm going to use a patting motion to blend my orange corrector out. Make sure that you blend this out really well so that when you apply your foundation, the orange color corrector does not seep through. And I'm using the wider end of my beauty sponge. This is going to help to cover larger areas of the face. So now that I'm done color correcting, it's time for our foundation. And today I'm going to be mixing 2 foundations, and it's going to be my L'Oreal Pro Glow and Pro Matte foundations. Like I always say, I have really oily skin, so I always tend to go for a mattifying foundation. But sometimes I like for my skin to have that subtle glow, which is why I love using this combo. So I'm going to use the shade Coca in my Pro Matte foundation and the shade Cream Cafe in my Pro Glow foundation. And I'm going to mix the 2 on my hand. I would have to say this is hands down one of the best drugstore foundations out there. If you guys haven't tried it, I highly recommend that you guys do. If you guys have oily skin like me, you could use the Pro Matte foundation. If you have dry skin, the Pro Glow foundation would be ideal for people with dry skin. I'm first gonna just take my finger and dab it on the skin first. Don't forget about the neck. And I'm gonna use my sponge to blend everything out. So just like the orange corrector, I'm still using the back end of my beauty sponge. And this is one of my favorite methods of applying foundation. I find that when I use a brush, sometimes it leaves streaks on my face and it makes it a little bit more difficult to blend my foundation out and get that flawless coverage that I'm looking for. So this is one of my favorite ways of applying foundation, and it's also simple and super easy. And now I'm going to use the excess foundation and just touch up on some areas where I want more coverage on. And I'm still using the wide end of my sponge, and I'm just going to touch up on those areas where I want more coverage. It's always best to gradually add layers to the skin. You don't want to start off with a lot of foundation. One of the keys to achieving a flawless coverage is to gradually work your way up and add layers. You don't want to just add it all at once because it's going to make it harder for you to blend it all out. Now it's time for highlighting and contour. First, I'm going to highlight the areas of my face using my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I know this is not a drugstore concealer, but guys, this has been my favorite concealer of all time for the past month or so. If you guys could get your hands on this, I highly recommend that you do. Another great alternative, which is a drugstore product, is of course the LA Girl Pro Concealer. And usually when I use this product, I would use it in the shade Fawn. So now moving on, we're gonna highlight the high points of our face, which is under the eyes, the bridge of the nose. I'm gonna put a little bit on my Cupid's bow and a little bit on my chin. So we're gonna start off with under the eyes. And I like to do it in a triangle shape. And also when I'm applying my concealer, I don't like to take it too far back. I want my face to have more dimension. So I'm just gonna stop about where my eyebrow stops and just drag it down. I'm also gonna bring it over to the end of my nostril. And I want to stop about where my eyebrow starts, which is here. And I'm gonna just drag it down. Bringing it toward the end of my nostril, it's gonna help later on when I'm contouring my nose. You guys will see that later on and I'll go more in depth with that. But I'm also gonna contour my lids. And I like doing this because it gives me an even canvas to work with when I'm applying my eyeshadow. And we're going to highlight the bridge of our nose and put a little bit on my Cupid's bow and a little bit on my chin. So now I'm going to blend out my highlight using my beauty sponge, but this time I'm going to use the narrow end of my sponge. So while I'm blending, I'm going to try to keep everything within the lines where I traced my highlight. And now to blend the outlines of my highlight, I'm going to use the wider end of my beauty sponge and just use it to blend around the outlines. Alright, so now it's time to contour, and I'm going to use my Black Opal foundation stick in the shade Black Walnut. So now to contour under the cheekbone, you want to make sure to feel for the cheekbone. So mine's is here. And I want to make sure to apply my contour under the cheekbone. So I'm going to apply it here. So I'm just going to take my stick and feel for under the cheekbone, which is here. And we're just going to take it and drag it down diagonally. And I usually stop around here, like midway. And now to contour my nose. The trick is, the more narrow you want your nose to appear, the closer that you bring your contour to the bridge of your nose. So I'm gonna bring it about this close. I'm going to apply my contour about here and do the same thing with the other side. So now to blend everything out, I'm going to use my Real Technique sculpting brush and just blend it out like this. While I have product on my brush, I like to also apply it on my jawline and around the perimeter of my face. Blend out my nose contour. Guys, make sure that when you're blending out your contour that you blend for your life. It may seem on video that I only blend for like 10-15 seconds and I'm done, but no, in reality, it takes me about 10 minutes or so to blend it out really well. So just make sure that you blend out as much as you can so that you have a nice, flawless contour. After I blend most of my contour out using my sculpting brush, I'm going to further blend everything out using my sponge. This is also by Real Techniques. I don't remember the name of this sponge, but I'm going to leave the link down below so you guys can know where to get this sponge. So now we're going to further clean up our contour. As you can see, the lines where I contoured, they're not that clean. They're really harsh. So I want to make sure to clean it up a little bit more. So I'm going to take the same concealer that I highlighted under my eyes with, and I'm going to clean up that contour. So I'm going to line it where I want my contour to end because I don't want it that wide, you see? So I'm going to start it about here so that I have this much contour. So I'm going to take my concealer and I'm going to drag it down diagonally. You don't want to drag this highlight down too low, because if you do that, it's going to accentuate this lower portion of your face and it's going to make it appear much wider and much bigger than what it is. So you want to make sure that you don't drag this down too low and just blend that highlight out. So now that we're done highlighting and contour, we're finally going to set everything using a translucent powder. And you always want to make sure that when you're using a cream product such as foundation, concealer, you always want to make sure to set it. This is going to help to keep everything in place so that when you go outside, nothing is smearing off or melting off your face. So today I'm going to use my Sasha Buttercup setting powder. So I'm going to dip my beauty sponge. The same concept when you were blending before, you want to make sure to keep everything within the guidelines. So try to keep everything nice and clean and work within the guidelines. I'm first going to set under my eyes and I'm going to use a patting motion. And now to set my contour, today I'm going to use my CoverGirl Queen bronzer in the shade Ebony Bronze, and I'm just going to apply it on the contour. And I'm going to use my same setting powder to set under the contour where I highlighted, and I'm going to use a wedge sponge so that I could have a sharp and clean line. Alright, so this is usually the part where I do my eyeshadow, so I'm just going to do my eyes real quick and I'm going to come back. Alright, so I'm back, I'm done with my eyeshadow. I decided to keep it a little neutral and we're just going to wipe off all this excess translucent powder. And I'm going to do that by just using a clean powder brush. This is by Morphe. So I'm just going to sweep it out as so, like this, under my eyes and my cheek. I'm just going to sweep it out. So next I'm going to apply my face powder, and today I'll be using my L'Oreal Pro Matte powder in the shade Soft Sable. So using my same Morphe powder brush, I'm just going to tap in my powder and tap off the excess and apply it as so. So although you could clearly see the contour, I want to further add more dimension to the face. So I'm going to take my L'Oreal Pro Matte powder in the shade Coca, and I'm going to bronze under the cheek and the perimeter of my face using my same fluffy brush. So when I contour my face, I literally think of the number 3. That kind of works as my guidelines so I could know where to contour my face. So literally, I think of the number 3. So I start from here, my temple, down to under my cheek and my jawline. So I want to add a little bit more dimension to my cheeks. I'm just going to take my CoverGirl bronzer again, and I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm also going to take that same bronzer and just further contour my nose. I usually like to start from up here near my eyebrow just to give it a little bit more dimension. Alright, so that's pretty much it as far as my foundation, contour, and highlight routine. I'm just going to complete my makeup look by adding a little bit of blush, highlight, and lips. I'm going to list all the products that I use in the description down below, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, stay tuned. Alright, so that completes the video. I really hope that you all found this to be helpful. I know to some it may seem like a lot, but this is just my personal preference and how I like to do things. So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, then give me a big thumbs up. Please don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.